Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Safety Systems. The weather warming up outside. That means more time to be spent outside on the deck or patio. That means you need to have a better deck or patio. How do you make it better? You call Safety Systems. You put a nice audio system out there. You put a nice video system out there. Beautiful stuff. Safety Systems. They can do it all. Call VFL JJ Surlis. This locally owned company has been around for actually going on 20 years. SafetySystems.com. Check them out. All right. Aside from the fact that a new chancellor could be a jerk or an idiot, which is possible, I don't see this having an immediate impact on Fulmer and Pruitt. That's a lot of people are worried. Is this, you know, the social media thing is this is the Haslams. They're coming back for Fulmer. Don't think that's what this is. I don't think Fulmer's in any trouble right now. I don't think Pruitt's in any trouble. Other than you're going to hire somebody else, and you don't know how good they're going to be. You don't know what their relationship with athletics is going to be. That's just a crapshoot. And it's one reason that you also have to wonder, and you get your take on this. Philip Fulmer was there and remembers, he saw it both ways. He remembers how good it worked when the sports for the University of Tennessee were under the president.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing he's probably in DiPietro's ear whispering that now. I think Tennessee would better take one more person out of the loop. You got to get all these people on the same page. Take the chancellor out. Put it back under the president. My view.
Long overdue. I mean, and
you agree? You guys agree with that or no?
100%. And I think that's where a lot of these problems actually started cropping up. When you tried to merge everything and put it under one and let the athletic department, let people that know athletics and sports run that department. And then they still have to report, but they're the ones that should be calling the shots.
I was told by a former football coach over at UT that after the Joe Johnson era ended, and the president sort of, I'm going to put football a little bit behind me. It put more responsibility on the football coach to do things that really weren't football coach things. Like if you wanted your offices recarpeted. Okay, coach, you're the one that has to do this now. It put more on his plate. Doesn't sound like much, but the way things work now, do you think Nick Saban sitting around his office right now going, gosh, I got to pick out office chairs. I'd love to be recruiting.
Yeah.
You know, and so I think it does make a difference how much bureaucracy you have in there and how much you're willing to go down and take care of your football coach.
And before we get into everybody else, there are people that are upset, and they view this as Bill Haslam. He's mad at the people who got rid of Curry, so they're going to change the board, and they're getting rid of the 27 board members, and they're whittling it down to 12. That's a good thing. I'm sorry. I wouldn't want to be on a 27-man board or person board. Yeah. I can't imagine that working smoothly. So it's going to 12, and the interesting thing there is Haslam put 4 appointees out there pretty quickly, and they all got shot down by the legislature. And he's come out and said, Bill Haslam we're talking about, has come out and said he's not going to be president. So that's part of this conspiracy theory, and it's like, well, yeah, except it doesn't connect from A to Z. It looks like a nice theory, it just doesn't work. But when you're looking at trying to get people on one track, recently you've had to get president, chancellor, 27 board members and a football coach or a basketball coach or a women's basketball coach, whatever your sport is. If you can whittle that down to president, 12 board members and a coach, you're cutting stuff in half. That's a positive in my view. I say get the chancellor out of that thing and hand it back to the president. Probably won't do it, but.
Yeah, I totally agree. Now, you need to have the right person that's ready to handle those responsibilities, which is really another conversation as well. But I mean, think about Tennessee and the letter that was just handed out to Beverly Davenport with her termination. It complained about communication. Go back to the coaching search. There appeared to be some communication issues with the president, Dr. Joe DiPietro, while that was going on. And go back a year and a half ago while Tennessee asked to get a chancellor and an athletic director at the same time. Well, who was overseeing that? Dr. Joe DiPietro, and they were having some issues with how that was communicated publicly.
And back to DiPietro, if you go by those phone records, it was also interesting to see in terms of communication, he was the one that was incommunicado, going to Mass, and wouldn't talk to him about the coaches until after he left Mass, which is fine, but why were they looking for him at 5 a.m. and they didn't get him until 10 a.m.? It's a long Mass. And let's get to DiPietro for a second. All right, that letter was scathing. You're the one that interviewed her. You hired her. You also sat over there for a long time and fiddled while Jimmy Cheek burned. At what point, he's stepping down. He won't tell anybody when. Well, he's already bought a house in another town because there's photos on social media of it. But people have said August. People have said December. Does he pick the new chancellor and then leave it for the new president? Or does he step down sooner to where they can get going on a president and work with and they leave Wayne Davis in place until they go get the new president to hire the new chancellor?
This is like a soap opera.
It is a soap
It is
opera.
a
It never
soap
ends
opera,
over
you know?
there.
Yeah.
What do you do?
I would think with we've heard a lot of good things, a lot of good reaction to Wayne Davis being named the interim chancellor. I would think, and I don't know this, I'm just guessing, that he would serve till they hire a new president, and then let the new president hire his chancellor.
Makes the most sense. But it's
So
probably not
President
what
first.
Tennessee will do.
So president first. There are people out there though who think that
Yeah.
DiPietro did this because he wants to leave it in good shape for the next. Yeah, he's going to go hire the new chancellor.
That's what he indicated.
Yeah. So if you're going to hire the new chancellor, you're just going to hand the new chancellor, and this chancellor is going to come in, added to that mix I listed earlier. Look at all the change.
Yeah.
And you have to be. It's basically an open process to where you're not a quiet applicant for this. If you leave your school, everybody knows you're trying to get out of your school to come here. That hurts your candidate list right there. But now throw in that to the mix that it's not stable. My name's going to be public, and it's the kind of situation where I may have a new boss. The guy who hires me will be DiPietro, and somebody else will be my new boss. I don't want that job. Who would?
God.
Unless you got $400,000.
I was about to say.
But
I think
Just throw money at it.
yeah, that's the answer to everything.
kind of to reiterate what you said earlier, I think having a guy like Philip Fulmer as a buffer between all this upper chaos and the coaches on the field is a good thing right now.
I think you're probably right because he knows the lay of the land over there.
Yeah.
He's been through it. In this turmoil, probably better with Fulmer than he would have been with Curry, because I think Curry would have been just as lost. I think Fulmer and DiPietro are probably on the same page, which I also wonder if your next president might be Brian Noland from East Tennessee State, who Fulmer has a good relationship with, and I believe DiPietro has a good relationship with. Might he be the guy that replaces DiPietro? But the question is, who do you replace first? President would make more sense, and let the new president hire the new chancellor, but.
God, we just had this discussion, didn't we? Chancellor, athletic director,
Yeah.
athletic director, chancellor.
That's exactly right.
Well, that's the way
But
soap
that was a whole year ago.
Yeah.
That's the way a soap opera goes.
And by the way, you have a ton of great staff members, faculty members, and academics and athletics that go over to that campus every single day and do a great job. I don't think the leadership has appropriately represented the people that are actually doing their jobs every day.
I know for a fact it's frustrating to the people over there. I've spoken to people in the administration since this happened. I've talked to people who are faculty, one person who's in faculty over there, and they just shake their heads.
Yeah.
That it's never ending. All right. Well, it's going to end on this show. We're done with it for today. We're going to talk recruiting next, and then we got a lot of football stuff, spring, the schedule strength, a lot of stuff. Come on back on the Sports World.